And we are back, and we're diving deep into this past year. It's our 2021 Wrapped Doodle. Do the dandy. And despite the fact that we are all still mentally stuck in March of 2020, 2021 is actually almost over. Lockdown strolls, the first flight in months, entering restaurants once again, insurrections, all the things, just normal year things, right? Another Skyrim remake. Though 2021 was a shaky year in many ways, it was a definite improvement from 2020, and that alone is worth celebrating. Honestly, it was still an eventful fucking year. From people getting assaulted over Pokemon cards to Redditors making Wall Street people cry. We had from gamers selling their kidneys to buy new graphics cards from Best Buy, to watching the internet cower in fear at the very real fear that their next favorite animated character could be voiced by Chris Pratt. This year had a lot. We debated the merits of whether or not chowing down on the downtown makes one heroic, and listened to too many TikToks on crazy WandaVision fan theories. Highs and lows for sure. Still, after a 12 long news-packed months, we know that it can be tough to recall exactly which film brought people back to theaters, or which musician made the most outlandish anti-vaccine claims, and which actor sued which media conglomerate for how much money. So tonight we wanted to take a look back at the year, and what were some of the biggest moments? What do we love? What do we hate? Let's dive deep into 2021. So let's start there, guys. What are some of your big moments of 2021? Kev, we'll start with you.
Man, big moment. Well, damn, that's tough. That's tough. Shit. I mean, I went to Egypt. That was cool. But no, we're just talking about what I would say. Just all like the sort of litany of Marvel shows that came out, right? Like this is the next phase. I think it's important that they kicked
in the year of the mouse for sure.
The year of the mouse. Sorry, my dog just knocked something over. Year of the mouse. And God, man, I think to be honest, it doesn't sound like too much have changed. Like to me, 2021 felt like a continuation of 2020 in some ways, just with more blind optimism. Yeah,
they're packaged together as the same year.
They're packaged. Yeah. They're It's part one and part two.
Yeah.
Before I get any further, though, because I keep on forgetting to do this, I wanted to thank Grand Titiana for the big raid. Thank you so much for coming through, and thank you for all the new people you brought here. I also wanted to thank 57 Round. I know that we had Cape talk about it over the break, but thank you for the follow. We appreciate that. Appreciate you joining us here today.
Hell yeah.
Anyways, back to the topic of conversation. Big highlights for the year, Jake. What do you think are some of the biggest moments of 2021 for you?
Well, for me personally, I got engaged. That was a pretty big one.
Good one.
And so I went to Greece. I also went to a whole nother country for the first time ever. And so that was pretty crazy. But just for video games, movies, everything wise, I mean, obviously I'm a big Kanye fan, so I'm gonna say I got Donda. That was a huge moment for my 2021. Getting Donda finally confirmed. Thanks, Savage. And so, is that congrats for Donda dropping or the engagement? No, I'm just kidding.
I think it's for the engagement. I think it might be for Donda.
Either way, huge moments for me. Huge moments. Very, very. No, I'm just kidding. But no, that was huge. And then right here at the very end, we've had Halo Infinite dropping. I think that was a big one, even right at the tail end of this year, just because it's like, holy shit, Halo's back. And it's good. People are talking about it. People are playing it. People are loving it. And so, for me, being that Halo was one of the games that really kind of I don't want to say got me into gaming because obviously I'm an old head. I've been in it for a long time, Nintendo, everything like that. And so, but like it's one of those where like Halo was one of the ones that really catapulted me into like the gamer that I am today in a way. And so to see it back in the headlines and everything's been really cool. And so, those are just some of my big moments. Halo coming back, Donda dropping. I mean, also in the same vein, Kim left Kanye. That was a huge devastation for me and Kanye.
Right.
So
you guys
like,
both shared that pain.
yeah,
For both you
exactly.
guys,
Exactly.
yeah.
Like, because I mean, we're so close, right? Like, he hit me on the line, and I was like, damn, dog, that's tough, buddy.
Did you tell him don't be sad that it ended, be happy that it began in the first place?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and
I would have told her that she ain't nothing but a gold digger.
Oh, yeah.
But no, man, I think it was it was an eventful year overall. Entertainment wise, we got some good bangers out of it. Like, I mean, I think it's I'll talk about it in I guess my best TV shows and stuff, but like, we had stuff like Invincible that just completely kind of like took us by surprise, that we were just and that was in the vein of comics and everything that we just didn't see coming. Like I knew we had heard, Amazon was coming out with it, but I don't think it was really on anybody's radar, coming into the year. And now I think it may be one of the most anticipated, animated shows coming into next year. So
yeah, I think that for me, some big moments. Well, I mean, you have some obvious big moments. I think the insurrection was a big moment this year, right? We made a lot of fun of that.
That was huge. Yeah, if we're talking about just like also like
just big moments in general.
Yeah, like
that was pretty big,
pretty huge.
The capitalism space race, while all of us were starving and trying to figure out what we're going to do and what our next big move was and how we're going to survive in the middle of this, the highest inflation, watching Jeff Bezos and
it's so funny how
Branson, whatever Branson's name,
Richard
Branson. It's so funny
Bezos
that like
did give $200 million to split it between two people, so that was nice.
That was very nice of him. But like, it's so crazy to watch like correlation, right? So like, in 2020, everybody ordered everything off Amazon. Like we were all stuck at home. Amazon's Metro booming. It's delivering all kinds of shit. And then boom, the next year, its CEO's like, I'm rich enough to go to space now. Thank you. Like, and it literally just takes off in a fucking rocket ship. And so it's just like, it's crazy to see those correlations. Like, I wonder how long it would have
pandemic. Fuck this shit, I'm out.
How long it would have took Bezos to get to space if the pandemic didn't happen. Like how long would it took him to win those extra couple $1 billion?
Giant penis on his little penis rocket ship.
I mean, to be fair, it's a pretty big penis rocket ship.
Compared to other rocket ships. So.
Yeah, compared to my penis rocket ship.
I don't have a penis rocket ship, so I can't get in that penis rocket ship pissing competition.
Speaking of rocket ship and penis sizes, Wall Street bets, that whole thing, that was this year too. Remember when a bunch of Redditors basically took down some rich capitalists on Wall Street, or at least pretended to? I think that ended up blowing up in their face, right, Jake? Isn't that how that ended out? How did the Wall Street bet situation finally settle itself?
So it really depends on if you had diamond hands or not, right? Like there was one of those times when it was one of those things where obviously Wall Street got bailed out. The capitalists really didn't lose. They did lose a lot of money in the long run, but not enough to actually take anyone down. Like there was times when Reddit was rich with all this kind of like hope of that we're going to take down Citadel, one of the largest hedge funds in the world, and like. No, Citadel just got a couple loans, and they're okay because they're good for the money. So like other people bailed them out, they were able to make
what happens
calls.
When you hold the power of people's retirement futures in your hands. Kids.
Oh, exactly. You're too big to fail. That was the whole thing that came out of The Big Short. Remember, we learned in 2008 that there's such a thing as too big to fail, and Citadel's one of those, right? Where like capitalism's not real. Because if you're too big to fail, then that's not true capitalism, right? Like that means we're socially bankrolling these companies with tax dollars to keep them alive, right? And so anyway, Citadel is too big to fail. But if you held AMC stock, which I did for the longest time, I bought AMC when it was like $12 a share, just because I was like, this is kind of stupid low, right? Right. And then, like, obviously Wall Street, bets kind of kicked off and everything. I got a little bit on the GameStop stuff, but not as heavy because I knew GameStop was fucking dead. It's not going to be a thing, And so, but AMC, I believed in, right? Theaters, I think they can come back. And so
Right.
I held that AMC stock forever, and we watched it go from $12 to $40 to like fucking nothing. You know what I mean? Like it dropped down
Right.
super low, but then something magical happened. Almost like a year later, or like, you know, maybe I think it was like 8 months later, the stock skyrocketed to like $80. And so
There you go.
everybody that actually held it, because they were having to buy all that stock back, that was the big thing. Citadel lost a lot of money having to buy those kind of like shorts they had back. And some people make a lot of money. It was actually a pretty big distribution of wealth for some folks. And so it was an interesting year on Wall Street, to say the least. And now you've still got people looking at AMC.
Jake snaps for hitting all the buzzwords. All of them.
But no, like seriously, it's crazy
If
to
you're playing
me that
bingo, you've won now.
GameStop is still a stock that people are looking at. Like
Yeah.
that it's even still relevant. You know what I mean? Like it
It
should.
really is.
And for no other reason than a bunch of Redditors were like, let's put this fucking shit to the moon. Like,
They really did. Yeah. Literally, they were
Like-
like, hey, we've noticed all these billionaire hedge funds are shorting this stock. Let's make it astronomically priced.
some
Yeah.
people
And that's what they did.
confused what GameStop does, like from a business model perspective, right? Like they don't, like no one's buying hard copy games anymore. So they're
Right
not
now, they
buying-
sell shares. That's all they do for money.
Yeah, right. No,
Yeah.
literally, because like, and they're not like, because their whole business model, they lived off of trade-ins. Like they wanted you
Yeah.
to trade your shit in. No one's doing that because no one has any physical copies.
And it's
of
not a good
anything,
deal.
so- No, it's never.
We got tired of getting ripped off. I mean, it's a better deal to sell your games on eBay than it is to
Oh,
tournament.
1000%. Like I
Yeah.
was going to GameStop because I was broke, and I was like, "Fuck, I got to play this new game. Let me go ahead and sell pieces of my soul
Yeah.
here real quick, just so I."
You only went
Right.
to GameStop whenever you were in the struggle. Rich kids didn't
Yeah.
go to GameStop.
When I was able to financially support myself, I had traded. Well, I didn't
Haven't
buy
traded
hard
it in
copies.
forever, yeah. And
Yeah.
like, yeah, like you said, hard copies, digital copies, I think are also a huge killer to GameStop. And so the fact
Yep.
that it's even still relevant is just because the internet's crazy.
Mhm.
Yeah. No, for real.
But we had a lot of direct-to-TV movie stuff that was really cool. I think 2021,
Yeah.
I think things like WB essentially coming out, Warner
Mhm.
Brothers, and making every movie that came out this past year available in theaters and on HBO Max was really cool. You know, there was a couple obviously that I went and saw in theaters, like Dune, and I think a lot of us went and saw Godzilla versus King Kong in theaters as well. But it was still awesome to have that ability to watch those from home. You know,
Yeah, no, I think that we got a lot of that. I think that we started off with that, and then it started to weed out at the end. I mean, there was tons. And we're talking about just big moments to come out of it. Black Widow lawsuit is going to be a big one, and I think that how you know, actors are taken into account in those decisions moving forward is going to be something that's at least reevaluated. You know, there's been tons of different things. You know, of all the things that have come out though, and Jake, we'll start with you this time. What's the best thing to come out of 2021?
the single most best thing to come out of 2021. That's probably a really tough one because like there was a lot of really cool things in 2021.
Right.
Man, I'm gonna say, and this is gonna be a little bit of a weird one, but I mean, I think it is the direct to home movies. Like I
Yeah.
kind of like the idea of having the option to either go see it in the theater or go see it at home and pay my like $20 or whatever. Like I know there's a lot of people that's got beef with that. They don't like the kind of like precedents that it sets, right?
Mhm.
But like if you're two people, $20, that's how much you're gonna go pay to see it in theaters anyway, you know? And so just watching it at the house, like I don't mind paying that, especially if I don't want to go through the hassle of having to go into a theater. So I really think the best thing to come out of 2021 is how direct entertainment has gotten. If I can get that grandiose with
Mhm.
it, it's just like we have everything at our fingertips more so than we had before we went into the pandemic, at least from my perspective.
Yeah, I mean, we got to watch both King Kong versus Godzilla at home. We got to watch. I mean, for a lot of people, like the Black Widow was another one
Suicide
of those. Suicide Squad, and the Snyder Cut. That was this year too. You know, we forget
Snyder
about that.
Cut
That was
was huge.
January.
Yeah.
You know, and so you know, I don't know if people would want to sit through a 4-hour movie at a movie theater, right?
I don't think you can.
I don't think you can. I think that the only way that works is if it comes out
Yeah.
the way that it did. What about you, Jake, Kev? What do we think about for the best thing to come out of 2021?
Yeah, the best thing. I think I gotta piggyback off Jake. I think just the idea that hey, we don't have to have everything come exclusively into theaters anymore. I mean, we'll see how long that lasts or how long that proliferates. Now that things basically aren't never locking down again. Um, uh, but yeah, I think that was one of the best things. I think it definitely sets a precedent for stuff that is possible. And yeah, I think yeah, that'd be my pick.
I think for me, if I would take a different direction for best things to come out of 2021, it would be a lot of these things. It's kind of a big thing that trickles down to some of the effects that we saw even in the Activision protest and some of the even the trends that Jake you were talking about earlier with unionization and things like that, where there's a new emphasis on what it is that we're doing for a living in general, and the value of that and what the cost is of that.
The value of our labor, comrade. Is that what you speak of?
Yes, the value of our labor, comrade. Not just that, but also even in an entertainment sense. Like the show last week, where I don't know if we're I think that the last show. Kev, were you on the last show? I believe with everybody. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So other than that, everybody else here wasn't. But you guys covered a lot of stuff about the Travis Scott incident and the
huge moment,
the Rust incident, and things like that. And I think that we're talking about one, like in that instance, what is the job of security? What is the security's responsibility? Things like that now being put on the forefront, and not just like thinking of security as something you have to have in an event. It really puts the value of it on there. Same thing with an armorer in a movie set. I think that the idea of like, why the hell are we even risking, using blanks and guns, if we can just animate these things, and I think that the kind of awakened look at that, where it's like, hey, what the fuck are we doing here, right? I think the what the fuck are we doing here kind of reaction, and that really permeates, I think, against a lot of different industries, was probably a really, really good trend to come out of 2021, because I think that it made us reevaluate our priorities. So for me, that's what I would think is best thing of 2021 personally.
Yeah. No, it was a year of a lot of reflection, I think, is a big word for it, right? Like, I think 2020 had a lot of people locked up, and 2021, we started to be able to slowly go back outside again. And I think a part of that is there was a lot of self-reflection last year, and so it led to this year being a big kind of year of that self-reflection manifesting into like, why am I doing this? Or like, what's the point of this? Like, why are we doing this as a society? Even like, why do we still do things? And so I think like we've asked a lot of questions, and I think it's going to be interesting, like the pandemic and how it's going to shape 2022 even, and further. It's going to be interesting. Yeah.
So turning on to the next one here, what are some of the worst moments of 2021, Kev? What you got for us?
January 6th.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that wasn't a great time.
Especially for you guys in DC. Like to preface, both of y'all being in DC, like that would be that was
right. Yeah, it was pretty close. So it was one of those where it was really weird, because it's the first time I've lived in an area. I mean, when you're from Alabama, you don't really hear. I mean, it may be like, oh, fucking tornado hit, or something, right? And so like that, that can be some of the craziest news. But like, DC's like right down the road, and that shit. Like, so seeing that live on television, I was like, what's happening?
And it's a super locked up, secure place.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It was one of those like the king does not have pants moments, right? Where you're just like, maybe we don't have a handle on things the way we think we have a handle on things, right? Like maybe shit isn't like, that was one of the weird things that I think happened with Trump 2020 and going into 2021, and like everything in general was just like, it was almost a breakdown of societal norms on so many levels, to where like people literally thought they could go and take the fucking Capitol. You know what I mean? It's like everybody's home train and just completely went out the fucking window. That's you know what's also another worst thing that's come out of 2021? Have you noticed how many fights on airplanes have gone down? Like, I swear to God, it feels like every week somebody's beating up a stewardess, and you're like, why, bro? Like, did y'all forget how to act on planes?
I think
I really don't get it either. And okay, so there's a part of it that is a little bit understandable and not like justifiably understandable, but there is a part of it that, like, when I was traveling these past couple times, it's been awful traveling because it's been very, very understaffed.
Traveling's a fucking nightmare, bro. Like,
and it is, but it's been particularly awful these past couple of times. The situations where I felt literally customer service so bad that I could only describe it as dehumanizing. It felt like that. But with that said, there are still people behind that. I'm not going to lose my shit on somebody, and I can tell somebody with anger issues. I can see how they would get to that point. Now, again, not justifiably. Like, it's still on them to fucking get that shit under control. But I could see what could get them there. That's for sure.
But the bad part about it is that a lot of it was entitlement stuff, because it was just things like wearing a mask. That's what all like. It would come down to stuff like somebody being told to put a fucking mask on, and then being like, "I'm American," like, and so like that was the other part of it too. I think that was one of the second worst things that come out of the last 2 years in general, was just realizing how big of a child everyone was, right?
I think
just kind of like how much of a fucking toddler all of your fellow Americans are. You're like, you're like looking around and you're just like, all right, like, yeah, you may not want to wear a mask, like, fuck it, whatever, I have to, they're asking me to, or it's not even that I have to, they're just asking, you know what I mean? And it's just like, all right, I'll be courteous, I'll wear your mask, I'll wear it, it's nice. And then you're looking around and it's like, it's this like toddler sitting next to you that's got it like right down here, and it's just like, I don't have to wear it. No one's gonna make me wear it. And it's just like, bro, like no one gives a fuck about your stand. Like, this isn't a Stephen King novel. Like, you're not like making some like grandiose kind of like, and that's the Stand reference, by the way.
No, but like calm me down, because like I see people around me and I'm like, I'll just start loudly being like, I can't, like, just obnoxiously loudly turning to Nelly, like, I can't fucking believe that there are adults who can't figure out how to wear a fucking mask this far into the pandemic.
It's crazy, and it's not that I'm complacent or compliant either. Like, that's the other part of it too. I hate that whole like sheep argument that like, oh, but you're wearing one, so you're like a sheep or whatever. And it's just like, no, I got a vaccine because like I get a flu shot. Like, what the fuck are you even talking about? Like, it's honestly, that's probably the biggest thing is the breakdown of reality, bro. Like, we live in different realities than some people. And
the divisions have gotten just even worse.
The division of what reality we live in, and the cognitive dissonance that has happened, right? And then I'm going to go even a step further to my most hated thing. That right there was, you may think, the worst thing, but I think the worst thing to come out of 2021. Bots. I think bots. Fucking bots, man. I can't buy anything. No one can buy anything.
Oh my god, yeah, I took an L yesterday because of bots, but no, I agree. I think it's just sort of this I lost my headset there. Hold on.
What happened?
Oh, I don't know. I lost the audio. Anyways, I'm back.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I think it's just, I think like you really, the toothpaste really is out of the tube now. It feels like, right? Where it's like, I remember I saw this TikTok where Trump did his fucking rally and everyone was like, yeah. And then he tries to calm everybody down. I was like, but you should probably get the vaccine. I heard it's great. And everybody was like, boo, fuck you. And I was like, oh, this shit, it's just a problem, So yeah, I think just kind of like people more and more exposing themselves and not really caring because they're living in their own version of reality.
Yeah.
And you're seeing the consequences of that every day with the hundreds of thousands of cases we have per day still with vaccines. Yeah, and then also bots too. Bots like that's just the icing on the cake, right? Like, and then I read an article the other day where it's like, oh well, this is how we feed our families. I'm like, you got
They've gotten
plenty
so
of money
bad.
to,
I think
they're
even
like,
Biden or somebody was like, "Hey, we need to look into bots." Like people are writing about it, and so like
yeah,
and so it's like even the feds are like talking about
yeah,
passing, because I work at a tech company and like that's one of the things like we can help do is prevent bots, and so like we're actually all like, fuck yeah, like pass some legislation, because if there's any like that'll just make more business for us because people will have to come to us to stop bots. And so anyway, like it's one of those where like the companies, they can do it. You can do it with IP
yeah.
addresses and all kinds of stuff. They just don't because it's the product's being sold. And
Right,
so anyway, not only all that other shit is really bad, but bots,
Yeah.
like
Hey guys, but at least we don't have to pay student loans in January, right? Oh wait, never mind.
yeah.
Fuck.
What do you want to tell Joe Byron right now?
Yeah,
Bing bong.
where are my fucking student loans? Yeah, I think the divisiveness. I have to agree with the divisiveness being the number one thing. It's just two separate realities, and it permeates through everything. It permeates through
Byron.
yeah, it permeates through our entertainment. It permeates through our families, even the content that we create here. Yeah, that's definitely the worst thing that's come out of 2021. I mean, like you talk about feeling powerless. Like I felt powerless definitely during the Capitol situation. One, because I have so many friends in DC, but two, just shortly after that, in February with the snowstorm here in Texas. I mean, like, oh my God, that was going days without any power and freezing cold temperatures and all that kind of shit, just to have our fucking governor fly to Cancun in the middle of it.
Old Cancun cruise, baby.
Yeah.
He's gonna get voted back in next year.
You know what's crazy?
Oh
One thing I've realized, I think 2021 is the year of retrospect, where you're like, wow, there's some really shitty people running our country. Doesn't give a fuck about anybody but themselves and their pockets. Like, how the fuck?
It was more than just Trump. It's always been more than just Trump.
And then not only that, you have the audacity to blame other people, like, well, it was the other states' power grids, or is the government trying to regulate our shit? Like,
Trump was just a light switch, and America's just been a darkly lit restaurant filled with rats,
Yeah.
And everybody's just been sitting there eating, and we're just like, I really don't see anything. I feel something scurrying, but I'm not really worried about it. You know what I mean? I hear something, right? And then Trump came in and is like, "Why y'all sitting in the dark?" And then flipped the switch on, and everybody was like, "What the fuck? There's rats everywhere."
He really did it in a lot of ways, and he did it by be like, "No, I'm gonna make you have to say the election was fake." He was like, "Well, I don't really believe that." No, you're gonna have to say that, or else you're off the fucking boat. And by forcing them into those situations, he turned on the fucking light. It's a brilliant metaphor.
We've all just been sitting here, we've been eating, and it's like you heard it. And but you may have even got a little bite every now and then, but you didn't want to believe it. And he just busted open. It's like, why y'all sitting in the fucking dark?
Definitely the divisiveness of 2021, I think, is the worst of it. Now, switching gears, let's go back to some of the bests. Right, 2021 had a lot of fun games. What was the best game that you played in 2021, Jake?
I mean, besides my obvious spiel on, It Takes Two earlier, and just how kind of like interesting and crazy that game was, I've got to give it to probably one of the best games I've ever played, and it just came out this year, Skyrim. No, I'm just kidding. But no, I mean, Far Cry's been really good. I've heard a lot of great things about, Guardians, but I think it came out in 2020, but the director's edition came out in 2021. Ghost of Tsushima has been one of the best games I've ever played in my life, and the director's PS5 version came out in 2021. So I'm gonna cheat and say that's the best game I played in 2021.
No Halo? Halo's not on there?
Halo, because I haven't played the campaign of Halo. Like Halo Infinite, like as the multiplayer has been pretty fucking rocking so far. But like I'm a story guy. Like, sorry, at the end of the day, and like I've always loved Halo's campaign, and so after I get done playing that one, it may be. But I don't know. Are we even getting that this year?
Yeah,
I need to check my calendar.
The story. I think the story comes. I thought the story comes
the
out
campaign
Friday. Yeah, the campaign.
It came out on Thursday. It's out.
Oh, the campaign's out?
Well, then I may
have to come back and edit this.
Yeah, exactly. What about you, Kev? What's the best game of 2021 for you?
Man, best game. All right, I'm gonna cheat and do 3. Okay, one, I'm gonna say the best game is Legendary Edition, the Mass Effect Legendary Edition.
That's
but
cheating.
that aside, biases aside, I'm gonna go with.
Sax is just spamming Halo in chat.
Halo. I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna crazy here and say between Back 4 Blood. And yeah, Halo. Oh no, sorry, Guardians of the Galaxy. No. Guardians of the Galaxy.
He faked him.
Yeah, no, Guardians of the Galaxy's fucking. Let me tell you how fantastic this game is.
I'm so excited
to
play it, dude.
So
I've got it
Guardians
sitting over here just waiting.
Have you guys heard of the Guardians of the Galaxy? Do you know what they do? You know what they are? They guard the galaxy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
they guard the galaxy. But no, it's very like and they did win best narrative game, which makes sense. Like this game, the dialogue in this game is probably the best dialogue I've played in a game. Like not even like the dialogue continues not just in cutscenes, but as you're playing the fucking game. Like the characters always talking back and forth. They're constantly cognizant of their surroundings and what's going on. They're talking to you, they're talking to each other, talking shit. It gets to the point where you're just like, and you know how the Guardians of the Galaxy are. They're always bickering and at each other's throats and sarcastic. You're just like, shut the fuck up, Rocket. I swear to God, if you just don't shut up, you know. But I feel like Peter Quill sometimes in that sense, and that's how great this game is. Like, my only knock on it is the combat system's okay, but everything else about the game makes you just not want to put it down. Yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy would be my pick.
Yep.
Dude, I'm so excited to play that game.
I'm so excited to play it too. I'm hoping to get a chance to play it on stream as well. I think it's probably going to be something that I'm going to play in 2022.
This is how ridiculous
this game is. Discount,
this isn't a spoiler. There's a part in the game where you got to cross this waterfall, and there's nothing obscuring you other than the fact that Rocket won't go across because he's afraid of getting wet. So you have to do a whole puzzle just so Rocket can walk across this bridge that has water on it because he doesn't want to get wet. Like that's how infuriating and fun this game is at times. Like it's so ridiculous. It's good.
That is pretty crazy. That is pretty crazy. Yeah. For me, if I'm looking at best games of 2021, 2 come to mind. Okay, and I'm thinking of the games that I spent the most time playing. Pokemon Unite, I've spent probably the most time playing this year as a new game that's come out this year. That's the game that's, again, we talked about earlier. I've been up till like 5 a.m. playing that game with a bunch of different friends. I mean, to go from a game that Nintendo legitimately puts on, it makes its own competitive, circuit for within a year of it being out, offering $1 million to the first place team. That's pretty big. I think that shows a lot of potential there. But if I'm also talking about other games that I've played, if we're going to throw freemium games out of there, I would say my game of the year is Sea of Thieves. And I know Sea of Thieves didn't come out this year, but Among Us won it last year, so I think that it's fair to count games that haven't come out because the updates to it this year were some of the most fun I've had playing video games in a long fucking time. And I think I've sailed the seas with all of you guys, all of the Nerd Herd at some point in time, where we've all gotten together and dicked around on there, and it's been definitely a lot of fun on Saxer days. Back 4 Blood was another big one on the list. I know that I've gotten a chance to play that a couple of times with you guys, but I really think that Sea of Thieves is probably the God damn it. It is one of my favorite games that's come out this year. It's been some of the experiences I've had out there have been some of my favorite experiences playing video games, period.
I know how much time I dumped into Stardew Valley, so I do not even want to know. Nelly said hers was Sims 4 cottage living, and talking about like just me and my cows crafting jam. I put so much time into Stardew Valley. I love The Sims, so I'm so glad that I have not played that yet, because I would have wasted too much time in The Sims 4. And how old is The Sims 4? Like they're still coming out with expansions though. And
let me tell you, cozy corner, Jake.
let me tell you about The Sims. Long ago, maybe 10 years ago, me, Sax, Greatness, another friend of ours, were in one of our friends' places, apartments or whatever, and we just were playing The Sims, like co-op together. I'm gonna do it. He's saying don't do it. I'm gonna do it. And we've been playing The Sims, for hours, like 2 o'clock in the morning. Like we made our own house. Like we were just fucking playing The Sims on one screen, mind you. I made everyone wait while I perfectly crafted my character down to his socks. Yeah. Yeah.
Do not enable this behavior.
That's how one of my favorite things that come out of 2020 was Trixie Mattel playing The Sims and making every drag queen from every season of RuPaul's Drag Race into different Sims. And like, dude, just watching that and then making them compete, fucking hilarious. Like the amount of detail some people get in Sims, because like I've been able to make a Sim that I was like, oh yeah, that kind of looks like me, you know, right?
Yeah, and Nelly's coming in like a dealer, being like, "Kev, let me hook you up on some custom content. It'll ruin you."
Right into the vein.
Right to the vein. I think that the Sea of Thieves is probably the one I've spent the most time in as a new game that I entered into in 2021. I got the what I would call the STEMI Hemi. My PC that Joe Biden bought for me, Daddy Joe Biden, splurged me with at the beginning of the year this year, and since that, like, I've just been playing all different kinds of great PC games and being able to revisit some games. I mean, I got to play Dead Space 3 with Savage the other night, and I mean that's an absolutely incredible game. Like one of those games that, like, I think that was one of those, you know, game of the year, knock out of the park, amazing badass games that we just forgot about because we see so many of them throughout the years, and getting to go through and replay and revisit some of those has been a lot of fun. And there's been a lot of fun free games this year, you know, to get into.
Yeah.
It's
a great time for gaming.
But those are some of the best games that we talked about in 2021. But 2021 was a pretty good time for TV shows too. If you think about it, this is really when the DC Plus MCU began. Okay, WandaVision started this year, right? And that took the temperature for what Marvel, the MCU on Disney Plus looks like. Disney Plus before that was just for Mando, right? That was the only reason we went there. So guys, for you, what were some of the best TV shows to come out of 2021?
I mean, WandaVision and Loki definitely like were two of my top. And What If? I mean, I think all of these Marvel shows, specifically those three, I'm gonna have to say were some of the best TV shows I'd watched. And then, I mean, I would be like, you know, if I didn't shout out Invincible like I did earlier, you know, I think that was one of the best shows that I saw come out of this past year. I mean, but Loki probably one of my favorite shows to come out of 2021. I
think Loki also is right up there as my favorite show to come out of this year, because I think that would probably be my top, you know, Disney Plus show of the MCU rated. If not that, no, I like Falcon and Winter Soldier better. I think that was a more fuller story, and that was something that I really wanted to see be told. I know that you know, y'all might not have liked it as much as you know, WandaVision or Loki because it's not as showy, but it was for me. I loved seeing some of those characters interact and some of the. I mean, really how they were connecting it to every aspect of the MCU. You know, down to watching man. Bucky, you know, interact with the
one we forgot, but probably one of the most monumental shows of 2021. Fucking Squid Game, bro.
Yeah.
Squid Game was great.
Fucking Squid Game like cultural reset. I gotta give a shout out to Squid Game. That show literally was the Tiger King of 2021.
It really was the Tiger King of 2021.
Yeah.
Kev, what are some of your picks for best TV shows of 2021?
Man, did they have? Well, okay, I'll just play what I was gonna say. Do they have to come out in 2021? Can I go by season? When did The Boys season 2 come out? That was 2020, right?
2021.
That was 2021. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Boys season 2 was early this year.
That was early. Early. Okay. Yeah.
We're about to get season 3 soon, so
hopefully. Hopefully. Still waiting on that, and Stranger Things season 4, whenever that happens. Mm-hmm. Probably grown adults now.
I think that's the Christmas one. I think that isn't that supposed to happen on Christmas?
No, there's no set release date. I mean, I think it's done. They don't know. Anyways, yeah. So Boys season 2, Mandalorian was 2020, I guess too.
Yeah, that was 2020.
Yeah. I'd go Squid Games. I'd go. There's another show that I watched that I only picked up, or we picked up because we watched the Emmys. It's called Hacks on HBO. It's fucking hilarious.
Hacks is great.
Yeah, no, Jake put that on as one of the hidden gems.
That was my hidden gem back in the day. I forgot. Hacks was really good.
Great. Yeah. And also, I gotta go Loki. Like Loki was fucking phenomenal. I really liked it. Loki.
I didn't have this one written down, but do you guys have any of your like favorite hidden gems this year? I think for mine, it would definitely be Biomutant. I think that was a really cool hidden gem this year that no one really looked at as much. But no, actually, Biomutant was one. But I think this latest one, Century Age of Ashes, this dragon fighting game. I think you guys will see what I mean on Friday about it probably being a hidden gem, because I haven't heard anybody talking about this, but I feel like this could be like, honestly, Halo level popular with how fucking fun it is. Yeah, it really is.
I gotta go with Flight Simulator.
Flight Simulator?
That's your hidden gem. Love to Flight Simulator, man. It's fucking fantastic. You just fly planes.
Yeah.
You know, like
nice.
you have complete control over everything, every single button that you see in the cockpit. You can press them all. I don't know what they do. You know, sometimes I push something and things start going beep, 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 beep. Oh, we gotta turn that shit off.
Yeah.
But it's fun, you know? Yeah.
Jake, any your top hidden gem of 2022 or 2021, whatever year it is?
That's a tough one. Yeah, like I was really because it was a year of a lot of mainstream stuff. I think it started in 2020 but finished in 2021, and I'll give my hidden gems. I actually even made a weird reference to it earlier. Paramount Plus's, it was CBS full accesses at one point, The Stand. The fucking Stephen King adaptation of The Stand on Paramount Plus. I just finished it not too long ago. Like I said, the series started at the end of 2020, but the actual finale, everything like that, came out in January, February. It has a different ending than the original made-for-TV movie. It's rated R, so it's not made for TV in that aspect, you know? So the way they handle a lot of those Stephen King moments that, you know, I think it was almost like, you know how like when the new It came out and everybody was like, whoa, the old It was really good, but this new one's not bad. Like, it's actually a really cool take on it. I like the Pennywise. I like all that. That's really how this Stand was on Paramount Plus. And so if you're a Stephen King fan, or if you're even in that realm of like Lovecraftian horrors and like things like that, and you got Paramount Plus, check it out. There's two shows that I would love to give a shout out that's on Paramount Plus alone that I think are kind of sleeper shows that people may not watch, because I don't think Paramount Plus is really kind of like, I don't think many people kind of consider it as their go-to streaming service, right? And so, but there are two shows.
They're heavy hitters.
There are two shows that are worth, and I think the new Halo series is going to be it, right? You know, people are going to be drawn to that. But there are two shows that are on there that if you buy it for the Halo series, I highly recommend, and it's The Stand and Jordan Peele's fucking Twilight Zone. Yeah, Twilight Zone.
Oh, that's what's on there?
Mint, dude. Okay. So good.
Is there a second season?
Yes, 2 seasons.
Oh, I know. Okay, that'll sell me. That sold me. That just sold me.
And so
season one was fantastic.
I just like that is there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be getting Paramount Plus because of the Halo series, and I'm just letting you all know now that if you're looking for something to watch while you're on there, check out The Stand by Stephen King, and that shit's so fucking good. They did a really good job with it. And the 2 seasons of the Twilight Zone, Jordan Peele nails it. And those are my like hidden gems, because I just really don't hear many people talking about them.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so we got through games, TV shows. I think, to me, the best movie of this year has got to be Kong versus Godzilla. That was probably the most entertainment that I'd had all year. Big close contenders are Shang-Chi and Black Widow, but I feel as far as build up for the movie, really wanted to see it, was like really kind of marking the days on my calendar. I feel like Kong versus Godzilla was my top one of 2021. You guys agree or disagree, Jake?
I liked Suicide Squad more.
Oh, I forgot about Suicide Squad. You're right. No, you're right. You're 100% right.
Squad. The Suicide Squad was maybe one of the most fun, good movies I've seen this year. I thought it was a lot of fun. It was really, really, really good. So yeah, my vote's gonna go to Suicide Squad.
Suicide Squad's got to be up there too. Yeah, I think that's one. I really am just mentioning Godzilla versus Kong for to shout out Matt Frank, who we also got a chance to talk with this year at 2021 and did a lot of poster work for Godzilla versus Kong. So there is that plug there. Go check out Matt Frank's work. Also, I think he's having a Christmas sale right now on his shop where you can get a lot of some of his prints there. You should definitely go check that out because he's an amazing artist.
I don't want to continually top off WB, but I just got to say 2 of my favorite movies this year were Suicide Squad and Dune. I really enjoyed Dune. I'm very excited for the next Dune movie. And there was almost no movie that came out last year that made me more excited for the future of the franchise,
Right.
And so that one really kind of got me fucking worked up for the next Dune. And if I could revisit one that's never going to get a remake or anything else to it, the Snyder Cut, obviously. We talked about that earlier.
Yeah.
One of the greatest Mount Everest movies of all time. If you can climb it, it's good.
There you go. For real, that's
12 hours.
A great metaphor. All right. Anything that beats Suicide Squad with you, Kev?
No, probably not. I was gonna say Fast 9.
I feel like that's you're on an island there with that one.
Yeah, I'm gonna be different just because I haven't seen a lot of movies this year.
You really like family movies.
I do. I love wholesome family movies.
It's family movies.
It's family movies. Yeah. It's all about family.
Yeah.
Well, as far as 2021 goes, was there any successful trends, and what does that look like for 2022? Jake?
Well, TikTok obviously is going to continue to be a thing. It hit
Right.
1 billion users in 2021. A lot of people didn't realize that. 1 billion. There's 7 billion of us on the earth. 1 billion of us use TikTok. So it is one of those where I feel like some people looked at TikTok as kind of like a trend in 2020, and then they're like, "Oh, it's still here in 2021. It's going to be here, I think, for a while." I think it's kind of like changed how like I think it hit that vein that Vine did, and we all like really liked Vine, and a lot of people when Vine died was like, "Oh, what the fuck? How did Vine die?" Vine only died because Twitter can't run a business. And so, like Vine didn't die.
It's like Instagram put out 15-second videos, and Twitter was like, "Fuck, what do we do?"
Exactly, yeah. And so TikTok, they've actually been able to kind of stay on top of shit. They've changed. They were Musically, right? So this isn't like some new social media. Like it's actually been around much longer than the past like 2 years that I think people kind of like consciously remember of TikTok, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so like I think it's probably one of the biggest trends, if you will, that's going to continue to stay. We're going to have your classic YouTube theorist like Straw Hat instead of on YouTube. They're going to be moved to TikTok, and so like we're going to start to see that migration of content creators and big content names and everything continue to move to TikTok and continue to grow on TikTok. And so that's kind of the bigger trend I think that's going to be here to stay is just influencers on TikTok, man.
What about you, Kev? Do you think there's any successful trends of 2020 or 2021? Did 2021 teach us any important lessons? What does it look like for the future?
God. Okay. I think the trend still is that, we got to get this fucking the supply chain crisis under control. I think we got to tighten up the ship. We've got a lot of things that need plugs, a lot of holes. We're taking on some water, but we're still floating. But entertainment wise, I think the trend is going towards, I think you're going to start seeing a resurgence, especially it looks like from the gaming industries, of a lot of strong narrative single player story type.
Literally just thinking that too. I was like, that's one that I forgot to add in.
I think the days of just the battle royale, mindless multiplayer matchmaking games over and over again are going to sort of not necessarily take a backseat, but share the spotlight with a lot of these great narrative style games that are coming out.
Yeah, I think that could be possible. I think that one of the ways, and I'll tie this into the next question. I think that the entertainment industry has evolved this past year, right? We look at it just recently with the incidents with that we were talking about earlier with the return of the show and a little bit of the deep dive that you guys were going into last week about how there's a new emphasis on safety and safety in general from making sure that you have the right prop guns to making sure you have the right amount of security, and a new focus on the importance of entertainment and the importance of prioritizing profit over people's lives. Hopefully that continues to go in the right direction, although we've known historically that hasn't been really the best case. But how would you guys summarize kind of the evolution of the industry over this past year? Kev?
I don't know if it has evolved. To be honest, I think that's why you saw a lot of those tragic incidents happen. I think it might try. I think it's going to try. I think it's trying to evolve now, and it's being forced to evolve because of things like COVID, because of the Russ incident, because of the Travis Scott incident, or the Astroworld incident rather. And I think the entertainment industry has to change and has to adapt to what the reality of the world is. And it's not, hey, let's make everyone escape by, just self the backs of capitalism and pretend that the world isn't on fire. But let's acknowledge the world's on fire. Let's try and do something about it. But at the same time, let's try and be conscious about how we go about delivering these mediums and platforms so that people enjoy doing so without sacrificing anyone, for lack of better words, in the process.
Yeah, for sure. Jake, I'll leave that last one to you. How has the entertainment industry evolved over this past year?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of think like in the vein that you were talking about, I think obviously in the system that we're in, money talks, and right. I think that like there was things like the Astroworld tragedy that happened not just because of how people have been cooped up over the past year and things, but then also we were writing checks that are or the mouth was writing checks that our ass couldn't cash, the old saying, right? Like they were letting too many people in there, not enough security was in there. Like there's just all these things where like capitalism was going to happen eventually. Like I feel like something like the Astroworld thing would have happened eventually no matter what. It just happened, when it did. And at this time, because it was like a perfect storm had finally brewed, right? And like it's from years of us cutting costs and cutting corners and doing everything we could to make as much money with spending as little as possible. And I think the pandemic and like everything like that has really started to kind of expose that shit in restaurants and festivals and everything.
Especially because I mean, you had what, 6,100, I don't know how many people have died of COVID at this point in the United States, but you have all those people just disappearing from the workforce.
Snapped. Yeah. And so like it's one of those where it's like a perfect storm for changes to happen. I don't think really much is happening like immediately, but I think like we have started seeing things like with Russ, like Dwayne The Rock Johnson's like, we're not going to use real guns ever again. We're going to start seeing a lot of sets not use real guns ever again. And things like with Astroworld, we're going to start seeing either them get more staff or have less people or have assigned seating more so than just, standing room only at some of these festivals. And so we'll see remedies happen, because I believe that being consumer friendly is starting to become more capitalist friendly. So like people are wanting to support brands and businesses that take care of people more, right? And I think that that's just been a shift in the past couple of years, and I think it's even been a bigger shift this past year, where people want to support businesses that are more renewable. People want to support businesses that take care of their not their customers, but their employees, right? You want to hear that they're getting a livable wage. You want to hear that they have PTO, that they have all this other nice benefits and stuff. And so I think over this past year specifically, with TikTok and other things like that, we've really got an inside look at some industries that are really bad and some industries that are really good. And I think people are starting to see their own wealth as well as their own worth, as well as the worth of their friends, family, and everyone around them, right? And so I think that's one of the big things that we could continue to see is just a change, or that's one of the big ways that the industry has evolved, is I think people have started to notice their worth, other people have started to notice their worth, and we're just hopefully going to be better because of some of the tragedies and things that have happened over the past couple of years. And capitalism is starting to see that taking care of people actually leads to more money.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
That's what it comes down to.
Eventually, it does. Not on the shorthand, but in the long run, it does. And hopefully, they will realize that soon, or maybe even they might realize that some things are more important than just straight profit. Preferably.
Hopefully.
Hopefully. But anyways, we are going to move into our top Zen. But before we do that, I'm going to check to make sure that we are still going good, still going strong. We good?
Yep.
Okay, cool. So there are movies that are about Christmas, and then there are movies that feel like they're about Christmas, even though they're about other things. There are non-Christmas movies, and that's films that are adjacent to the holiday dealings. And for every Elf or Love Actually, there's a movie that imparts the vibes of Christmas in an indirect way. Tonight we got our top Zen, our top 10 or top 12 non-Christmas movies, our 12 Christmas movie or 12 non-Christmas movies of Christmas, if you will. Two more than your normal because we're giving out extra today. So, in the spirit of Christmas, dandy that doodle, Cape.